Brian, we affectionately call you Teach. For the last 20 years, you have been...
Not quite 20.
20, I mean, okay,
where
I'm about to go, I think.
Sorry, I don't know where
You've been a mainstay.
In the fitness world,
right.
You have been a head NPC judge.
Yep.
You have been a diet coach.
Yep.
Is that a proper term for that?
Nope.
What would you call it?
Most of the people I coached, there was really no transaction of dollars. So I don't know. It's more like a diet helper.
Okay.
Than
an advisor.
And then, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Competed in bodybuilding, judged bodybuilding, coached bodybuilding, done retail account sales, management, training, product development has been the hat you've been wearing, I feel like, the most.
Yeah, still watching sales, but yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like,
definitely involved with co-mans and
bigger team on the retail side than you used to have. Product development side, still just you.
Still thinner.
Yeah, thinner. Okay.
How easy was it when you guys were out on the road and you first let people try Fruit Loop protein?
Well, you had to have the opportunity to get them to try it. But once they tried
people were dicks to you guys.
Once they tried it, they loved it.
Yeah.
I think that was like the protein that put you guys on the map, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would agree.
It's something that, like, it was one of the first
different.
It was one of the first flavors that, as someone that got to let people try it all the time, right? At the time, there was, let me just give you a myriad of flavors that were available at the time from First Phorm that were great, but they did not have this unbelievable feedback like the Fruit Loop did. And there was chocolate chip cookie dough, rest in peace, 3CD as we affectionately called that one. German chocolate cake, ice cream sandwich.
German chocolate cake would have been chocolate coconut back then.
That's right.
Coconut.
Thank you for that. Chocolate coconut. There was Fruit Loop. There was juicy watermelon, tropical punch. They had tried citrus twist, a pink lemonade. All of these flavors came before, obviously, Fruit Loop cereal. And then your classic chocolate vanilla strawberry in different, fun names, but rich chocolate, vanilla ice cream, strawberry milkshake, so on and so forth. But then you got to the Fruit Loop cereal, and it was the first one that when you let people try it, you said, doesn't that taste exactly like Fruit Loops? And it did, like to a T. Like, like, I can kind of see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, watermelon, for example, is like watermelon flavoring is very different from watermelon taste, right? Watermelon Jolly Rancher is like one flavor, and then watermelon, like eating it, two different things. But like eating Fruit Loop cereal, and that was the same thing.
Agreed.
So when you guys started moving that product, is that when you guys started seeing the retail sales start to really explode?
I wouldn't call it exploding.
Yeah.
I think it started to tick up for sure. You could get people's attention, and then that was a gateway or opening the door to maybe them trying some other products outside of that. And I think, if we look at the Loopty Fruit as being like the first one of those, but there was also, we talked about it for a second, the mint, the chocolate mint cookie, root beer float. All of those flavors had those same effects to where you could really kind of like blow somebody's mind a little bit by what it tasted like, and it gave them instant trust in the brand and the way things were going to taste from the brand.
Agreed.
Isn't it? It's funny to think back on those days because essentially the industry is completely flipped. So back in those days, I'm guessing when you walked into a store, they were asking, I don't have any demand for your product. What's your margins? And it was probably basically that simple, And now brands are like, I don't need to go into any of these little stores. I'm going to create demand through direct to consumer, and I'm going to try and go after Target or Walmart or, Costco. Do you see any brands out there doing it, the old school way anymore?
No, I think to your point, like back then it was the biggest jug of protein for the cheapest price with the most margin was the best thing for, the store owners to have on the shelf. And the premium brand conversation really didn't exist. Maybe online it did. There were a few, what would be considered premium brands that were available. But inside the supplement store, like it basically kind of started to boil down to what was the cost and what were you getting, for that cost? And that was the only conversation there was. And it wasn't like they were trying to figure out how to get something expensive. It was going to be the cheapest thing that they could possibly get. And I think over time that conversation changed, especially as women, once it wasn't just meatheads trying to use protein, and you had more of the general population using protein powder, and not everybody was real happy with bubble guts because of using just not a great protein powder. I think that's what offered a change in the direction for people to start carrying different things on the shelf, and have a wider selection and not just the biggest jug for the cheapest price.
Well, and this might be jumping ahead a bit, but like protein has gotten quality-wise so much better in the industry. So many great brands are coming out with great products. Are we going to see like a de-evolution of it because of the rising costs of protein? Do you foresee us going kind of back to that old school protein era where a lot of companies are going to start making more bubble guts protein because they're trying to cut some corners where they can shave some margin where they can, because the pricing is just getting so out of hand?
Well, I don't know that I think we might see some different types of protein hit the market, but I don't know that, there's only so much. Whey is a byproduct of the cheese making process. So there's only so much material out there to be utilized. So I don't see a scenario for any of these companies to be like, oh, well, we could make a real dog shit product with this if we just did it this way. Well, because they can make more money by selling a premium good.
Well, you may have more intimate knowledge on this than we do, but there was a fun product we used to make fun of, because it came in like a dog food bag, and that was Serious Mass. Not to call out Serious Mass, but it's because it had sweet dairy whey in it, right? The lowest possible grade of whey.
Yep.
And so my only point is, like, do you think that we could start seeing some proteins that start listing that as one of their ingredients, just purely from the cost perspective?
Yeah. So for there, like, you're looking at a product that's going to be full lactose. Right. So there's some definite possibilities.
Hold on tight.
That's right.
Bubble guts on the way.
Your digestion's going to feel this.
You might want to take some digestive enzymes along with that, to ensure that it's going to be tolerated a little bit better by the guts.
Not to mention at that time, that product obviously also had, 100 grams of maltodextrin to go with it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem with most weight gainers, right, is they're just not very well constructed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then unfortunately, the person that's buying it, right, is usually somewhere in the novice stage. And so they'll see the calories and they're looking at grams and not quality within them. Right.
Sure.
And so it's like, if I can get 700, 800 calories this easily, I'm going to do this, you know? And yeah.
You kind of mentioned it, but can you give us an idea, for people who are listening that don't have an idea as to what's going on with the whey protein market? It's kind of going crazy right now because demand is getting out of hand and supply.
We've never seen anything like it. Dude. The protein's going bananas.
Can you give us a background as to why that is, or what's the inner workings? You kind of touched on it with it being a byproduct of making cheese. Can you give us a full understanding as to why these costs are going up now and what's driving it?
Yeah. So the real issue is that there's so many folks that are buying it now. I mean, you can buy, mac and cheese with added protein. Mm-hmm. You can buy Pop-Tarts with added protein.
At supplement superstores.
You can buy cereal with added protein. It's going into so many things that it's just really just destroying the amount of supply that is available. So when that happens, then price goes through the roof. Get your Starbucks with protein. Get your McDonald's, whatever, with protein. There's just so many avenues that it's being utilized in, and maybe not always as effectively or efficiently as it could be, but that's still, taken away from what's available.
Yeah, we call that protein slop. Yeah. I'm going to throw a little bit of protein in there just to
so I can put it on the label.
Mm-hmm. But you're still not going to hit your protein needs in a day.
You're seeing that. I mean, you're seeing that everywhere. And, a conversation we've had once before teaches that protein, specifically the number that people are like attracted to, is much lower than we would all think is effective. And so you're like, 10 grams seems to be like the number everybody wants.
Yeah.
And it's like, why only 10? you're not stimulating muscle protein synthesis with that number.
No, you're just getting started. And, for the most part, like that 10 grams is also attached to probably 200, 300, maybe more calories, where like if you were going to try to hit your protein goal by consuming that product, like you're not going to get anywhere close.
And so it goes back to just like, it seems like, of course, everything if you can do it through diet, great. But if you can, a scoop of whey is still one of the most cost-effective and easiest, purest ways of getting in that protein, especially with the ratio of to calories.
Yep,
you agree with that?
It seems convenience-based, to the max, because really, all of those products are aimed at general population. So people that have never thought, I could probably chicken for lunch, and then for dinner I could have beef or steak, or it's like that's just something that they've never done, and so they're trying to add in protein with foods that they were already consuming. Right. So it's like they're looking for, they're having mac and cheese for lunch. They're like, well, I should probably have some more protein. They have protein mac and cheese now. I'll just do that instead.
So I was speaking to a protein manufacturer, whey protein manufacturer, earlier in the week, and they had just sold eight tractor trailer loads of whey to a salad dressing company.
Oh,
you're kidding me?
God.
No.
Why would they not just do like yogurt
or just get chicken on your salad?
Right.
You could put a chicken breast on your salad.
So, but like
instead of
you're just not going to get there with the salad dressing. Like, why are you going to F up your salad dressing? And this is what we're probably going to see, come
there's going to be a pullback
to fruition. Right. Like, don't F up your salad dressing by trying to put protein in there and make it not taste good. Just put a damn chicken breast on your salad and call it a day.
Mm-hmm. I saw you at Sweets and Snacks, obviously, Expo in Vegas. We were looking at just all of the convenience packaged good items that were hitting the shelves. And I would say about 40% of the supply there had a protein angle. Where there was like protein, there was like, what kind of beans? It was like crunchy edamame soybeans that were protein. It got as bananas as you could think as far as like, we put protein in this. Doritos as a classic. That, to Kyle's point, people are just looking for, hey, what do I typically buy, and if I can get the added protein version of this, great. The late 90s, early 2000s, really popular with fat-free diets, right? That was really popular back then, and so everybody was making 98% fat-free almost everything. Right. You were getting fat-free cheese, fat-free Cheez-Its. Anything you could think of had a fat-free label on it. Do you see this like sticking around as long? These fads typically last a couple of years, but this one feels like it has real staying power to me.
Yeah, no, I think the protein consumption thing is going to stick around. I don't think that's going anywhere. I think people have finally realized that like over-consuming protein in quotation marks as far as what an RDA amount says isn't going to kill your kidneys or, cause XYZ problem that we used to hear about, from back in our days in the store. And everybody had an excuse of why they couldn't have more protein. Something was going to happen. They're going to get too muscular, or it's going to hurt their kidneys, or you name it. That's not going away. However, I do think, as Kyle stated before, there's going to be some pullback on putting protein in everything under the sun. I don't think it has a purpose in all of those things. Like, your protein's your protein, your carbs are your carbs, and your fats are your fat. And, that's been the way it's been for forever. And I just don't see an adjustment there. If you go back and look at like even the diets that have been successful over the past almost 100 years, there was never this merging of all these macros. Everything just kind of stayed where it belonged. And that's how we traditionally eat anyways.
Right. The elimination of a macronutrient has never been successful.
Right.
And really, this is something that, we've talked about in the stores with customers for a long period of time, where it's like, you are just not going to consistently hit your protein needs unless you track your protein and you're eating lots of whole food protein.
Right.
For the vast majority of people. I've seen this this trend online where people are now like, you don't need to consume that much protein. And of course it's online. So they're basically trafficking in, outrage. You find what's popular and you do the opposite of it.
Yep.
But there's lots of people that are finding protein's popular, so I can take the opposite stance. But in my experience, it's like you can't overemphasize protein consumption enough because most people are going to underconsume it over time.
Yep.
And the thing that I worry about with like protein being stuffed in all these random things is that people are like, well, I'm getting my protein,
Yeah.
I'm getting 10 grams at the, it's like, no, you have to consciously be tracking your protein.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to hit your protein goals every single day, it's not just going to happen because you switched your Doritos from regular Doritos to, these 5 grams of protein Doritos. It's like, you're going to have to cook. This is the thing that's like a barrier to entry for a lot of people with protein too, is that you can only eat so much yogurt and cottage cheese. It's like eventually you're going to have to eat chicken. You're going to have to eat beef.
Yep.
You're going to,
Or scoops away.
Right.
And you're going to have more meals than probably you thought
Correct.
you were going to have because
Right.
you can't just sit down at every meal, depending on your weight, and have 50 grams of protein
Right.
at that setting. And even if you were trying to do that, the 6 grams in the Pop-Tart's not getting you there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And
it's just wasting space.
Well, it's like if you try and hit your protein goals and you're consuming it through highly processed things like that, well, guess what you're going over on? You're
Yeah.
going over on your
are going
calories
through
in
the
general.
your carbs, your fats are going up higher now.
Yeah.
The erosion of trust, though, that it does. This is like we've been around enough different like fad cycles, if you will, through the company that when people come in to a store and they simply say like, "Hey, this is what my goal is. This is what I'm trying to do." We give them, the truth back to them, just common sense stuff back to them. The fear that I have is in a couple of years, we're going to see people, maybe even as soon as next year, we're going to see people in our store when we say like, hey, we really, first things first, let's start tracking your protein. Let's make sure we're getting your protein goal. And we're going to get that infamous answer, oh, I already tried that.
I already did that. Right.
I
I mean,
already
it goes
tried
back to, the Dr. Oz days, right?
Mhm.
White kidney bean extract was going to help you lose hundreds of
Garcinia
pounds. Like,
cambogia.
right. I mean, those things are like, yes, that ingredient can help, but it's not going to do it for you.
It's not replacing
And
the
then
work.
It's usually in combination with a whole lot of other ingredients in order to get there, right? To make it do what you're trying to do. And I think that there'll be a chance to educate people there that like, well, tell me about what you're eating to hit your protein goals, and,
Right.
and it'll be some uncovering of some truths there that they probably don't want to hear. But if you can specifically point them out where they're going wrong, there is an opportunity to regain or gain that person's trust.
Sometimes it's just the damage has been done in the sense of where they weren't looking for.
Well, they don't want to be wrong.
Well, yeah, exactly. And you don't want to make them feel like they're wrong, right?
Right.
And so there will always be a new thing that they can try instead versus like, the long lasting, habit changes.
I just don't. I mean, I might disagree with that because it's like really the difference between the two is that you have protein, which is essentially the built like the base level of like weight loss, right? So the kind of I look at everything else as like
For us, it is.
right.
I was say like Kyle, you're
Some
talking
people
about.
will talk about calories, but way before they talk about any
I mean, I would say the
macronutrients.
Well, I mean-
majority is going to be like just being at a deficit.
You're right.
Base
You're
the
right.
base.
It is actually calories before protein, but we all know that muscle tissue is the most
Yeah.
metabolically active tissue on your body. If you're trying to keep a healthy
Oh,
metabolism,
I would disagree. I think
Right.
you're right. I think
Yeah.
it is
Right,
protein.
I'm saying we're just talking about general population.
right.
Yeah, because if you give somebody who has a weight loss goal and they're supposed to consume 150 grams of protein and they've been consuming 40,
Right.
they will not be hungry if you give them 150 grams of protein.
Right.
Like they're not
Yeah,
going to be
that's-
looking for more snacks.
This is
because-
always the thing that was crazy to me too, is that, protein's so filling,
Right.
it's the most filling macronutrient. Carbs, you eat a bunch of carbs and then as
you
soon
want
as,
to eat them much more.
right. But if you eat them with protein, it kind of blunts that absorption rate and
Right.
it kind of, it helps with the hunger.
Well, shifting gears to like the product innovation side, Teach. Here's just a handful of products that I know that you've been a part of. All of First Form's clear proteins, all of First Form's protein sticks. I think you guys were the first genuine high protein meat stick out there.
Yep.
I mean, when they first launched, they had 20 grams in them.
Yep.
And
Jeff was a fan of how thick they are.
what are you talking about, dude? It's a girthy stick.
True, right?
Okay.
You don't
You like what you like.
you like it? You like thin beef?
You like
You don't like a girthy beef stick?
I'm used to it being girthy. All right.
Yeah, the meat. Anyways, your guys' protein sticks were a huge hit. How do you handle the trends and the what consumers want versus like what's most effective? We've always been a brand at supplement superstores that tries to help educate the customer on what's going to be the most effective long term versus like what is most available or most seen. And so I recently you guys switched your protein stick, not switched, but created a new offering of making a 10-gram protein stick that you guys are offering in the Target locations. Was that a tough decision to make with you guys having the 18-gram protein sticks readily available and them being a more efficacious, more useful stick for most people?
Yeah, I think it was just a matter of like meeting the market where it was at, and there was, you know, the scenario where that is the stick that's primarily found, you know, out in mass channel. So it was just like we can make this stick alongside of our other one, and then you know use it as a gateway to get people to the next stick. I think.
Did you ever consider, and this is just pure curiosity, 11 grams just to be
Right,
the
a little bit
differentiator?
different.
I mean, like just to be a slight differentiator.
Yeah.
You know, one extra razor blade,
Right.
as they've done for so many years.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just getting it to where it was aligned with what was in the market, and then you know, try to beat them on flavor.
Yeah, went over them on
Went
flavor.
over on the other things that the brand offers versus just the extra gram of protein in that scenario.
How's that launch been going so far for you guys?
It's been going very well,
Good.
very well.
Are they nationwide?
In Target, yes.
It's great. So there's a lot of other examples of this where I've been around for a lot of years where we were not going to do a protein bar, right? We weren't ever going to do an energy drink, stuff like that. Seems to be like the most popular SKUs that First Form's putting out now are Phorm Protein, Phorm Energy, et cetera. The family of brands there. There seem to be some of the most popular SKUs now. What do you say to, I guess, like, you know, never say never, I guess, on any of these things? What made you guys decide that this is a good idea?
Well, I think if you go back, you know, I like to say go back 100 years, right? We weren't going to make a caffeinated pre-workout.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had Alpha Cree for eons before we decided to come out with Megawatt, and then
A great product to mix with a caffeinated pre-workout
Yeah.
back in the day.
Very
it
popular
was
combo.
good. Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of like, all right, where's everything going? You know, what does it look like, and then where do we need to be? And we've been lucky enough in some cases to be at the kind of the tip of that spear, be early, you know, adopters. And then there's been other times where we've kind of just we've held back, we've waited to see, you know, does this have legs? Does it have longevity? And you know, should we get into that side of the game as well? And you know, I think looking at all these scenarios, I don't know if anybody would have, you know, if we go back to 2011, if you would have predicted that the high protein snacking or just the convenient side of the business was going to get to where it's at today. But it certainly has, right? And and it is not slowing down.
Right.
In fact, I think that just the after COVID, the whole, you know, how convenient can something be has just continued to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And we're seeing conveniency spending over like a month's supply. It's going through the roof.
It's, I mean, that part's bananas to me, but I want to make one major point that I think really helps articulate this for anybody that's listening. There was a time when we were saying like we're never going to do a protein bar because the protein quality in bars was not usually as high as what you would make in a powder at the time. They didn't taste as good as another great example. The flavors have come a long way. Now protein bars can taste incredible. But I also want to say this, and that's, you know, if you are in business and you are trying to take this like hard stance that we're never going to do this or we're never going to do that, you're obviously not going to be in business very long because things can change. But if all these people are going to, for example, like just to the 10-gram protein sticks that you guys just started making, it's like, well, if all these people are going to buy 10-gram protein sticks, we should obviously make sure that it's from us.
Right.
If we're already buying them, what are we doing if we're not making something that they already want? You know what I mean? If they already want this, why are they not making it a First Phorm purchase, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you go back, Jeff, and this might help prove your point, there was a point in time where we didn't make branched chain amino acids, and we would try to sell against them because you would want to take a complete protein.
Yeah, you should be
over
making
just branched
EAAs
chains.
this whole time, right? Essential amino acids.
So then we just said, and finally got to a spot where it was like, you know what, screw it, we'll make it. So then they can't say that, well, you guys just don't make that, so that's why you're saying don't buy it. And then once we made it, we still said don't buy it. Buy the whole protein,
EAA
but if you're going to
ones,
buy it anyways, then just buy it from us, right? And we'll make it as good as we can possibly make it. And we have sold a lot of branched chain amino acids.
Right. Right. Yeah. The supplement industry it's so cyclical. It's so interesting the way things go out of popularity, come back into popularity. Obviously, back in 2011, protein bars couldn't have been less popular at that point.
Right.
Now they're the
Shout out Detour Supreme.
shout out Detour that always expired on our shelves.
Yeah.
But you had Quest kind of come out. They were kind of like the ignition point of the protein bar craze that went into 1 bars, and then it was just kind of off to the races after that. But because you're so deep in this, what trends can you see on the horizon that you think are going to be big trends in the next 2 to 3 years?
I think with the healthy eating category in general, I think people are going to look for simpler ways for that to happen. I mean, you walk into Whole Foods, it's just, it's like you can be paralyzed by the amount of choices that you can have. And, if you go to a regular grocer, there's hardly any choices. Like you couldn't put a whole healthy meal together. So I think what you're going to see is this healthy snacking, healthy eating. Like there's going to be more options to like have a complete meal being made. However, I think people don't want to see, I don't need 100 different types of noodles on the shelf, right? Like just give me 5 or 10 different kinds. Like I think that people are getting overly paralyzed by choice there because it's just confusing. Like, well, do I want this kind or do I want that kind? Or so like having stores like supplement superstores that are carrying
like that,
what people should be buying, or what you guys have tested and said, like, this is a good option.
Yeah.
It's going to be building that trust through different scenarios like that instead of just protein powders and pre-workouts. I think the pre-workout section of the store is going to drastically shrink, and there's going to be other options food-wise there for people to eat better.
Right.
What functional foods specifically come to mind
Are
for
we going
you?
to see a resurgence of protein pancakes from Phorm?
Yeah, right. But I mean, things
you guys
like
were
that.
early on that one.
Yeah, protein pancakes, muffins, like any of the things, pasta, rice, all these options that, I mean, really.
We're buying protein pasta every week in our household.
Right.
Every week.
If you sit down and look at this is where people get wild with their diets. I don't want to have to diet. Well, if you wrote down like what you actually eat in a week, it's really not that wildly different of foods.
No.
You're eating a lot of the same things over and over and over again. It's just the word diet sounds like you're restricting what they're actually consuming. And I think once people start getting better about recognizing that they're really not eating this many different things as what they think they are, that there's going to be a gateway for a different way of eating and a different way of buying what they are eating.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I personally loved the protein pancakes. You got to get them back, and the cups.
I think we put them in a box this time. We just leave them out of the box.
I agree.
Like a Kodiak cake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, they made the single serve Kodiak cake as well, so it's like they had both.
Right.
But having them just in the box, I think, is a great start.
Yeah.
But again, same thing we're talking about. There's all kinds of, like Aldi has their own brand of protein pancake mix.
They do.
You kind of touch on this. What do you think is? It is crazy to me that given the economy that we are currently living through, that energy drinks are surging. They are far more expensive per serving than a pre-workout. They are void of.
Hear me out. Half the price of coffee, though, Kyle.
Yeah.
Half the price of buying a coffee from
So
Starbucks.
I have a good comparison.
This coffee
for
was
this.
very, very cheap.
No one's buying, but you are
Chris,
definitely in
Chris
the
Klein
minority.
bought that coffee.
Yeah, that's
No,
true.
dude, that's a Keurig cup. That's his.
I brought that.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I thought Chris did.
But I mean, like, that's like a gas. I mean, like,
I
dude,
should be like, Chris, come on, dude. At least give me some coffee.
we're not
here."
replacing. I mean, like, to me, I'm like, energy drinks are like a lot of Gen Alpha. It's like it's their personality trait. They're identifying with these drinks.
No, but
Yeah,
they
and
are.
I have a good analogy for this. So, like, and we look at it, we think it's crazy, right? The amount of money that kids are spending on convenience right now. We call them kids. I'm almost 50 years old, so
Right.
if you're 20, you're a kid. Sorry. However, if you go back to when we were in our 20s, if we told them stories about what we were spending money on, they would think we were nuts.
Right.
Because we were going to the bar and spending
Beer.
$150 on a Friday, and then turn around and doing it again on a Saturday on booze.
Yeah, that's true.
And they don't do that
Yeah.
for the most part, right? Like that's gone. So it's just it's just changing with times. Those things, it happens. It doesn't have to be. I don't know that we're ever going to be able to explain it, but it is what it is, and we better figure out how to keep adapting to it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But I mean, my original basically thought of this was they're choosing an energy drink, doesn't have any creatine in it, doesn't have any beta alanine in it, doesn't have any anything to help with vasodilation. It's literally just caffeine in a can.
Not a lot of functionality.
And it's far more expensive per serving than a
Pre-workout.
pre-workout. So that's the thing that's crazy to me. And also, they will hammer 3 of them in a day, which is crazy to me as well.
So I was probably in my 20s. I was probably choosing a cigarette or a dip or a chew or something along those lines.
Right.
I guess we could go back and forth for a while here on what our choices were versus what their choices are.
For sure. I guess I'm just
There's
it's
just so much more value in the pre-workout scoop, is I think the
yeah. That's what
for
I'm
sure.
saying. Is like is the younger
Bang for
generation
buck.
is just and they'll buy those ingredients individually now or in another product. They'll buy a pump product to take with their energy drink, or they'll buy creatine to take with their energy drink.
Yeah, I feel like you're seeing a resurgence on single ingredient SKUs again as well.
But you're getting it like the energy drink thing. I think is worth touching on because I don't know if you get to look at any of like the data that Phorm Energy gets as far as just looking at who the target market is and why do they buy what they buy and so forth. But it's like when everybody's trying to make a call or like a case for like your spending habits, everybody always goes after like the daily coffee, right? Like, oh, well, if you just didn't buy that Starbucks every day, it would save you this. And it's like, well, you're buying multiple energy drinks, and if you're buying them from a gas station, that's always the 2 for $5, 2 for $6, 3 for $10.
Right.
Because that price is going up now. It's like 3 for $10.
Oh yeah. The
But
threefers is that's a new thing, right? That's
we had to
a
create
recent
some,
new thing.
We had to come up with some more margin. So now you got to buy 3.
Take this, you addict. I know you're going to drink all 3 of these.
It makes the turns look a lot better though in the store when you buy 3 over 2.
That's
right?
true.
If you're trying to make it look good on paper.
Yeah.
But all these different options. And so what I've noticed is like, we ask people all the time, like what their favorite energy drink is. And so much of it, I feel like goes to just, what's popping, what's trending, what influencer do they love, what brand do they align with most. We blind tested so many, we've done those like those trendy videos where you put the cardboard box over the drinks and it's like, no one is nailing it. I feel like for sure I would nail a Diet Coke. I would nail a Diet Mountain Dew. You know what I mean? Like, what? You don't think
Easily.
so?
No, I'm saying easily.
But then you put me with the 17 White Monster, lookalike
Variations.
cans. Every brand's got one.
Yep.
And then you put me with the White Monster. I might get the White
I was
Monster
about to
correct.
say, you might get that. That would be the closest one you would
But
get.
but everything else is just like, dude, it just like they all taste pretty similar.
Right.
You know what I mean? I love this cherry Folds of Honor one. I think this is my favorite flavor out of the Phorm Energies. But like if you hand me a cherry flavored other, random brand like Energy Accelerator or whatever that one's called, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't even remember the name of that brand, but pretty similar. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think it can be. Certain flavors are going to stand out, and every brand will probably have its, winner, it's Cinderella, but I think there are some pretty good flavor overlaps there that are hard. It's going to be hard to split the atom.
I think orange would be like one of those, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, they're all pretty close. Like you might have a favorite, but it is probably pretty close to somebody else's.
It's minutia difference between the different flavors. What do you think flavor has the most gap as far as interpretation on that flavor?
We were talking about it a minute ago, the white monster or grapefruit-ish type.
Is that what it is?
flavors
Is
are
it grapefruit?
wildly different depending on what brand you get it from.
That's a good point. You know what? And did White Monster, were they so genius by calling it White Monster versus calling it grapefruit?
Yeah, I don't think you can call it grapefruit. I think people are too...
Target demographic. Not a lot of men eating grapefruit on purpose.
Do people know at First Form that you are the White Monster or no?
I don't know. That's probably not...
Is this just a Edwardsville supplement superstores thing?
Those are from a
You used
long
to
time ago.
bring a White Monster to work every single day, dude.
Yeah.
Every
I
single
thought it was
day.
because I was jacked.
Yeah, that is true. White Monster.
It's
Back
because
then.
he worked for a Kyle.
then.
He wanted to make sure that you had enough
Yeah, he
monster
worked.
on you,
He
dude.
definitely worked for me.
Yeah.
He wasn't helping me.
No.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying.
technically, I did work for him.
There was a lot of people that were
technically worked
helping
for
me.
him, too.
There was a lot of people helping me at that time. When you fire the entire staff, you need the extra help.
Yeah.
For our listeners,
It was tough.
Teach
over
once
there.
helped Kyle in a supplement superstores location.
yeah.
This
This
is
was what,
2013.
In all
yeah,
of Illinois.
2013?
Yeah,
Right.
it was Edwardsville and then later Shiloh.
Right. What do you think? Do you think that working in the stores like that, because that was the only time that you worked in the stores, right?
Yes.
Do you think did that help you when it came to working at First Form, formulating products?
For sure with the retail side, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and I think even still, like going and visiting, other retailers is still a huge part of like just seeing what's going on across the country. As far as trends go, I think, the reason the formulation thing came, I wouldn't say simple to me, but the reason I enjoy it was the years of in the golf business and reading all of the studies and everything that I read. And, it's basically just a transfer over to the human body and reading about what's going on, when you take certain ingredients. Like the plant is very, very simple. It runs on nutrients and hormones and water, sun, all of those things affect the plant. But if you boil it down to a person, it's very much the same way.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So part of your job at First Form is dealing with independent retailers, specialty retail when it comes to supplements. What do you think is the next trends that you see in that industry, or how do you see that industry going over the next 5 years? Because currently, like we talked about earlier, there is what's happening in the supplement industry is a lot of supplement companies are developing their brand direct to consumer online and then trying to go big box retail.
Skipping over the specialty
skipping
retail
over
channel.
specialty retail. And for those who don't know, it used to go basically specialty retail. Then you kind of try and build your brand online off the back of the specialty retail into after the life cycle of the brand kind of develops, then you go into big box retail. But now there's brands I've never even heard of that are just going straight into
They're in Costco.
Costco.
Yeah.
Right.
They're
So-
not even doing mass channel. They're going into, warehouse.
So it kind of
channel.
leaves specialty retail out in the cold. How do you see that industry going over the next 5 years?
Well, I still think that we're in a stage where customer trust is at its all-time low.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that when people are when they don't know what to do or they've been burned too many times, they're going to circle back to specialty retail where they know the experts are. It's just a matter of with the influx of people that are consuming products, they have to know where you're at. They have to find you.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think one thing that we see often in the, on my side of the business, if you're talking about specialty, which means a whole lot of different things from gyms to stores to, you name it. They're not doing a real great job on the marketing side for consumers to know that they're there and that they exist.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be I think that there's a bridge that has to be crossed there for folks to find them. But once they find them, I think that there's definitely some room for growth as far as getting my mom, for instance, into a supplement store. You know, how do you do that? You know, she has to be introduced to it and almost welcomed to walk in through those doors. It's just a little bit different scenario than it had been for years.
Right.
What do you foresee in the form of experience? Like, for our listeners, teach how many different specialty retail stores do you feel like you've serviced over the years?
Ooh,
Is it in the hundreds?
it's more than that.
Well,
Yeah.
let's say you're 500. Is that like a good placeholder?
Yeah, we can start there.
Sure. And I think from our conversations, so often supplement superstores has been used as the basis of comparison to how these retailers throughout the country, where we don't have supplement superstores, how they operate versus how we operate. What do you feel like this is not just like a trying to blow smoke on us, but just what do you feel like, that sets supplement superstores apart?
I mean, it's the personal interaction. It's when somebody walks in, their name, you can, ask them the right questions to get them to the goal. Like the conversations that happen inside of supplement superstores has traditionally just been, for most of what I see, different than what happens, in a lot of other retail stores. And, we're always working to try to coach people up and explain to them, the difference when you do those things, right, for the customer loyalty and the word of mouth growth and then all the things that come along with, having a customer walk out of the store, excited about the purchase that they just made.
And you've had some really loyal accounts over the years that are outside of supplement superstores, of course. And what has been what has been the biggest challenge with trying to train, somebody who's new to, running a supplement store on getting them to understand that aspect of really, seemingly thinking long-term with every person they meet?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's getting them to. Everybody only has so much time and energy, right? So making them understand that this energy that you're going to put into, it may only be one customer. It's worth it because that one customer can turn into two, and they're like, this is just crazy. Like I've only had one customer today, and then they, take a play off on that single customer. And making them understand that one customer is as important as if you had 10 customers. You're going to need one to get to 10, and you're going to need 10 to get to 20, to get to 30, to get to 40, and making them understand that like that energy is absolutely worth it to put into that person to grow your business. Is it can be challenging at times, especially if they've had their balls kicked in for multiple days or months in a row.
One of the when I was very young, 22, 23, I remember we had a company meeting, and Andy said in that company meeting, he's like, how would you treat the customer in front of you if you knew they were your only customer and you had to blow them away to make them want to go tell friends and family about us? And I took that to heart, at that age. And I started basically, every single transaction I took, I stopped looking at it as a transaction, started looking at it as a relationship that I'm building with somebody. And like Jeff said, like it was going to be, I'm going to see them multiple times. They're going to be in the fitness community. Right. They're going to be coming back and shopping with me. And if you take that mindset, it's much easier to have the long-term mindset and spend the time, ask the right questions, not be just trying to, finagle something, onto somebody and just actually try and help them. And I think that, very early on, Andy was so ahead of a lot of retailers in that way, because he was preaching that, in a time where, there, like I said, the wind was at our back as an industry, and you could kind of be like a turd, in the store and still do pretty well.
Yep.
And so super grateful for that, and I mean, you were a part of that as well.
Well, I think for me, and this was definitely not my idea, but I couldn't tell you who said it first, and I probably have said it more than 3 times, which automatically makes it mine, right?
That's how it goes.
I gave credit.
That's how it goes around here. Yeah.
So, but thinking of that person, if they were my aunt that was asking for help, or my uncle that was asking for help. I mean, I just got back from the Hot Works convention in Las Vegas, and you had everybody under the sun inside there that are franchise owners of that group, and there's people that are absolutely in incredible shape, and then people that aren't in shape at all but they own a franchise, and just thinking about that, I'm still in front of customers on a regular basis, weekly, and having that thought when I'm talking to them and treating them like they're a member of the family, and just making sure that I'm answering their questions and I'm paying attention to what they're saying and trying to figure out where we can solve a problem for them. Like, that doesn't ever go away.
Right.
I got a different take on this, and I'll say it's because I think as things have evolved, right? Helping the person in front of you, genuinely taking an interest in them, genuinely caring about the outcome that they came looking for, will always be valuable. But what's been really cool for me to experience over my personal career with being an hourly employee, working a counter, being the student, right? Then turning into the coach, then turning into the business owner. And you start to actually see the raw cost of giving somebody a sample, pouring something into a cup and letting them try it, the bottle of water, the soap to wash the shaker, the cup, it starts adding up, and it can terrify you, dude, as an owner, because you're so scared that you're not going to get that return on investment.
Yep.
And so when I think about, how well our model has done and has stood the test of time, at least in the supplement industry, 20 years, a long time. And you look at these brands that have a hard time launching, these other stores, there's a lot of mom and pops out there in the specialty retail world that you've met over the years. And I get why they can't do it, because you got to have a stomach, dude, because
Right.
now more than ever, and it might just because of, my age or whatever, but it feels like the niceties and the little things that we do investment wise, to me, it feels like the value of them is diminishing versus improving. You would think that a thank you card would be worth more today than it would have been 10 years ago. But to me, I feel like it's worth less. What do you think about that?
I don't know if I agree with the thank you card.
I don't know if I'm
being
right.
worth it,
I don't know if I'm right. It just feels that way.
I think that this is just my personal opinion, but it's all of that's icing on the cake. But the meat of what people expect is speed of service, selection, highest quality products at a great price. And it's like, if you got to have those aspects before you can pour on something else and it be meaningful,
I think you nailed it, dude. That's exactly like, the product itself, right? My problem needs to be solved, right? When I walk in the door, I should be able to get my problem solved. And then if you are a genuine great person, if I feel aligned with you, if you appreciate my business, you call me sir or ma'am or whatever it may be, if I just feel great about the experience, then I'm really over the top. But like, I think now more than ever, people are as picky as they'd like to be on getting the product specifically the way that they want it, right? With no compromise, right? It better not have any artificial dyes or sweeteners. I mean, someone would come into the store, they'd ask, hey, can I get this kind of protein? And they'd be like, well, we have something like it, right? But nowadays it's like, you either have it or you do not.
Right.
I can get it by noon today. So
I actually picked it up in the before you could finish your sentence.
Yeah.
I already got it.
Well, and that the trust that we were talking about before, like, that's where that comes from, right? They're not trusting of whoever is right in front of them at that time. However, whoever told them that they needed whatever kind of wild, crazy product it was, and it had to be this, like, you can't compromise. Like, for some reason, they trust that person. Now, hopefully that wasn't some internet personality that
it was, Teach. It always is.
On TikTok.
It always is, dude.
But, I mean,
the same people that sold them the BCA.
That's right.
I can't believe you didn't use the link in their bio to buy it.
Right. Right. Well, they were hoping to get it today.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
Dude, protein's getting so expensive. You've been making protein for over 10 years. Why is it getting so expensive?
There's a lot of people using it in all kinds of things. So, and there's only so much supply at this time. We're probably going to have to start selling a block of cheese with every jug of protein.
All right, let me answer that question again. But like, give me like the dairy house situation. Like, we'll just know that there's only like a handful of places in the whole country that actually make protein. You know, the manufacturer is different from the source.
Right.
These are two different places. If you could walk us through that kind of process, I think most people don't know that. It's like supply and demand, I think they get.
Right.
But it's like, there's actually like how many dairy houses in the country?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of dairy houses.
Is that where it's coming from?
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch.
Okay. Nick, you got any input on this on how to make this
and
more?
Dairies, like Dairy House doesn't even make protein. They're buying the same stuff.
Well, what am I thinking of? Just cheese manufacturers?
Well, I mean, there's a decent amount of those too. So, I mean, it's just there's only so much whey can be converted in, or, you know, that's left over after the cheese making process.
Dude, what's, you know, you've worked at First Form for how long?
It'll be 15 years in March.
15 years. You've seen First Form go from, you were one of the original, what,
seven orders a day.
7 orders a day. But you were original like 4.
Customer service.
What employee number were you?
I don't know.
You like second or third?
Yeah, early.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's been the coolest moment that you have had working for First Form in that 15 years? Like, what do you look back at the most fondly?
Oh man, that's a good question. I mean, certainly, you know, being a St. Louis kid, the Anheuser-Busch partnership on the energy drink side,
it's pretty crazy.
Was a ton of fun. But I think if you go back and look at, you know, multiple products that we've had a tremendous amount of success with, like that has been a lot of fun. So whether it was the meat sticks or the clear protein, you know, last year, the peanut butter and jelly bar won the best new bar at NACS, which is like the largest convenient store chain expo in Vegas. Like that was huge.
Cool.
Because that idea, you know, came to fruition, multiple revisions to get the flavor right, and the bar is absolutely incredible. So
right.
Hopefully we can do back-to-back years with strawberry.
Dude, I was just
cake.
About to say, have they not tried smash cake?
It wasn't there yet.
When's NACS next year?
It's coming up.
It's coming up
it's
this
right
year?
around usually around the Olympia time.
Wow, what's that one in LA? Expo West. That's really popular too.
Yeah, that's Expo West. Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that's in the spring-ish.
Here's a different kind of question. You've been, you know, a lot of the guys that started with the company around Kyle and I's age were that like 18 to 24. Fresh out of school, or, you know, picking this as like the thing they're going to sink their teeth into. You had a different kind of path, you know what I mean? Like you'd already had a full blown career in the golf industry, doing really well at that. What kind of like, you know, that leap of faith that you had to take, you know, how did you do it, man? Especially with a kid on the way at the time when you made that jump. How were you able to do that? Because there was no one to talk to you back then about this. Like there was no one else doing it like you did.
Yeah, it was belief. You know, I mean, at that point, Andy and I had been training partners for quite some time, and I had been around the stores, and I just didn't see an end coming to what was going on in fitness. Like I could see what was ahead of us, and you know, the ability to help people the way that we were helping them. I thought that was going to be different than what anybody else had ever done. Because at that point, you know, I had been around the country enough, at least in the fitness side of things, that like I knew that what we had going was not what everybody else was doing. Mm-hmm. And that was going to be a huge leg up on getting some traction in the industry. Now it took longer, as probably it does for everybody, for it to get to where we thought it was going to go. But it's still going, you know, so that slow burn sometimes is the best way to have it, right? Because it's going to keep you warm longer. So it was just one of those things where I had a gut feeling that was where I needed to be.
That's awesome, man.
How'd that go? So was Andy like were you guys bench pressing, and then he just got off the bench. He's like, dude, why don't you come work with us?
I think the first time it happened, I mean, I can remember the first time that you guys would get a kick out of this, but 1DB overdrive samples had come in.
Nice.
And it was like in a Ziploc bag. He's like, dude, you got to try this. And, it's a bag full of pills in a Ziploc. And I'm like,
Grabbed him out of that lifted Dodge.
I've given
right.
out thousands of those in my life.
I guess we'll give this a try. But literally we were probably on the elliptical next to each other. And he's like, someday I'll have a spot for you at First Form. And I'm like, oh. At that point, I hadn't even really, like the first time he said it, I probably was like caught off guard and didn't even really process it. Like, I got a job.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. But
Like, okay, Doug.
and actually at that time I had 3 jobs, I think, because I was still working in the clubs and trying to be a golf course superintendent and, some landscaping on the side. So,
dude.
yeah.
How does your lawn look right now at home?
It's pretty good. It's been an easy year though.
I was gonna say,
I
do you
think I've
keep it
only
pretty-
yeah.
It's been great for the rain, man.
I don't even mow it. Like, I'm sure my dad rolls over in his grave because of that after paying for college to take care of grass. I'm still taking care of the grass. I just don't mow it.
Right.
Trying to think of any other quick hitters. All right, I got a handful of things for you.
Okay.
I'm going to name off products. Were you responsible for it or not? Just a quick yes or no.
Okay.
I might have some follow-ups to it, but all right. Or just favorite flavor of all times of these.
Okay.
So
Vialis XT. You should
I
have.
was not
snorted it.
Not. Yep.
Didn't taste it. All right. Protein stick. What's the best flavor?
Jalapeno heat.
Over the honey chipotle?
Yep.
Crazy, dude. Formula One clear specifically. What's the best clear flavor to you?
Watermelon.
All right. Formula One standard whey isolate. What flavor is the best?
Ever or
All time.
current? Key lime.
Key lime? Your favorite of all time?
All time.
Gosh, dude.
That new Cocoa
blasphemous.
Crunch, though, got that in the cabinet. It's good.
I think it's
I'm not
phenomenal.
chocolate. I'm not chocolate.
You're
guy.
just, oh, okay. All right.
I think it's phenomenal. Megawatt flavor.
Oof. I can't remember the damn names.
Knuckle
sandwich.
No, it was a summer cooler, I think was the name of
Okay.
it. Like the cucumber lime.
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it was good.
Dang. Project One.
Strawberry banana. Like
Level One.
German chocolate cake or chocolate coconut, depending on the year.
Is it coming back?
Yeah, it's on the LTO schedule.
Level 1 bar.
Smash cake.
I agree with that. The smash cake is, dude, I think we gave it a 10 out of 10 when we tried it. We're like, this is the best protein bar that exists.
Peanut butter and jelly is right after that, but
Right.
smash cake's my favorite.
Yeah.
And again, it's just because I don't like chocolate is not my thing.
Yeah.
We're going to switch gears. Most underrated. The one that most people will sleep on, but it's awesome.
Bar,
Level One bar.
salted caramel.
Sleep on that? That's like in the top 4, I thought.
I don't know. There's a lot of people that won't choose that one.
The chocolate peanut butter, if we just call it chocolate peanut butter fudge, I think you go further.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
that
got a
one was-
fudgy ass,
yeah.
like texture to it.
It was rich. It was probably too rich for.
I think it's the best tasting one. Like if it's a fresh one specifically.
Oh yeah, no,
We,
it was great. It was just so rich that in the middle of the day when you go to
It sticks to your teeth
Yeah.
like nothing else.
it's-
But like
it was good.
It's fudgy. Yeah, so I think that's underrated. Anyways, Formula One standard, most underrated flavor. You might have already
It's
said
key
it.
lime.
Key lime.
Yeah,
Because it's not
probably
a super
so.
popular one, but
Yeah.
it's awesome. What's another one that comes to mind?
I mean, root beer gets overlooked a lot, until
Which
you
is
get people to try it.
wild.
Once they try it, they're like,
Game changer.
blows their mind.
It is Chateau root beer. It's so good.
What is the most underrated level one flavor?
strawberry.
Yeah,
Our strawberry is phenomenal.
that's a good point. How about-
Most important question though, out of the original 2 Formula Ones, Tropical Punch and Juicy Watermelon, which one were you?
Punch.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I don't see that coming. I was going to say for the most
We were both
underrated Formula One,
watermelons.
cherry lime though. I was actually just cherry lime the second the cherry lime came out.
Yeah.
That was life changing.
Oh, yeah.
It was so good. I'm still a cherry fan to this day. Now, we didn't talk about these at all, but arguably the actual best protein bar that you guys make is the Power Pro.
Specifically,
Chocolate peanut
chocolate
butter.
peanut butter.
Chocolate
it's
chip peanut
so
butter.
good.
Yeah.
Why is that
I
not
don't know.
even in
The
your
chocolate
top 5?
coconut is phenomenal.
It
Phenomenal
is.
too.
You know why? It's the chocolate chips that are in it. You're like, this is a
Yeah.
nice little treat.
What is it about though? I mean, you might have insight on this. Why is it that like that bar has got some serious like just like oils on that one?
Because it's predominantly peanut butter would be my guess.
But
Yeah.
so is the chocolate chip peanut butter. I don't get the same kind of sheen to my bar as you do. It's a slick bar.
Oh, yeah.
The coconut one.
They like there's the
Coconut
oil coming
That's what it is.
out of that as well. So,
Gosh,
you
that
know,
shit's
on
great.
an extruded bar like that, just the potential for those things to surface are pretty high.
When you were looking at, let's talk about just some quick failures in the sense of like some stuff that you just like, dang, I thought that was gonna like do better than it did. What are some flavors that just like, you know, like you've tried them and you're like, that was a good idea in concept maybe, but execution not so well, and maybe some stuff that didn't make it to the market.
That's tough. I don't. Might take me a second to think of these.
It's fine. You're keeping track of these. Thanks, dog.
Man, I don't know.
Pink lemonade was a huge bomb. Remember that
On
one?
Formula One.
Yeah, you weren't around for that part, I don't think.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, I was. Like pink lemonade was great. You just had to let it sit long enough.
It also-
because
it
it was
clumped.
so foamy.
Yeah.
It was super
I
foamy.
thought it
If it
was-
sat though,
Gross.
so that was one of the one like you see this sometimes with flavors where it'll like develop the longer it sits. If it sat for like 15 minutes, I thought it was great. You know, but if you tried to just shake it and drink it, it was not so good.
How do you put that on the label though?
You can't.
You know?
No, it's impossible. It's impossible.
Many a return, and it was always
Yeah.
the clumpiness.
Oh yeah, so here we go. That's a good one there. So if we want to talk about flavors that like flopped, but they shouldn't have, eggnog level 1 was like we had so much flavor trust with the customer that if we made it, they just bought it, and people were buying the eggnog level 1 and they had never had eggnog before and it just got returned. Like, I mean, the thing tasted exactly like eggnog.
Nailed
People
it.
are like, oh, this is disgusting. And I'm like, it's eggnog.
Right.
Like, you know, I love eggnog, but if you don't like it,
Yeah.
like, don't buy it. It's like when people would try Fruit Loop,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or Loopty Fruit, and they were like, it tastes just like Fruit Loops, and they would drink it, and they're like, oh, that's gross. But I don't like Fruit Loops. I'm like, well, I don't know why you tried it. Like, I
right.
mean, it is dead on Fruit Loops.
Right.
Have you guys
What
made-
about the tequila margarita?
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
a
good.
controversial.
I have 2 jugs at home
right.
on life support still. It
that was a
good.
Formula One?
It was wasn't it Formula One? Yeah,
thought
it
that
was.
was a pre-workout.
Yeah, I think it was a Formula
It was
One.
Formula One.
Yeah,
Gosh,
we
I
do
didn't
have
remember.
margarita pre too. But,
Yeah.
yeah, it was. I mean, that was a great flavor too.
Right.
What was the best Summer Smash flavor limited release of all time?
I feel like you already have an idea of what
I
you
don't.
like there.
I don't. I truly don't. Truth is, I also haven't tried them all.
I got one. It's now in the rotation though.
Well, it's probably like root beer or orange dreamsicle.
Orange Dreamsicle.
Orange
Yeah.
Dreamsicle.
But Summer Smash Splash. That was like the OG one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The first one ever.
Yep.
It was just like a, I don't know, like a sex on the beach, like a coconutty orange.
Pineapple,
yeah,
orange. Yep.
A mix.
Yep.
Back in the day when we could just call everything fruit punch.
Yeah, it was safe.
Just-
safe.
Diet red. Diet red. Put some fruity. Like no one can actually. You know what's funny? I saw this the other day. Just like how fruit punch is like that. Like who decided fruit punch was just always going to be red?
Right.
Considering it's a mash of.
Of all kinds of fruits.
Why would that be
Kool-Aid, dude.
Yeah, but no.
Kool-Aid decided that long ago.
Someone was like dressed up as a blueberry. And they were like, just like you know, like doing like auditions for flavors, and they were like, you know, blue raz, and like blue raz gets up and like goes and kills the tryout before blueberry could ever come in the room. Like, oh, we're already good. We got our flavor, man. And he's like, well, but like, no, man, we're gonna take a raspberry, we're just gonna make it blue. You don't have a job. You just gotta go home. And blueberry's just like, How was the blue fruit? How did this happen?
I mean, blue raspberry has.
Have you ever had a blue raspberry in your life?
No, that's why people like it.
I was about to say,
there's no expectation.
I've never even considered that that's not even a real thing.
I will reach for a blue raspberry flavor because it is one of my favorites. Yeah.
I mean, blue raspberry icy.
But what the hell does it?
It's like there's been some companies make some like black currant flavors. Like who in the hell has ever had a black currant? Like,
right.
You have no idea what that tastes like.
No.
Like,
Blue raspberry.
I never come across
correct
that
me
in
if
my
I'm
life.
wrong. Blue raspberry tastes like it's a little bit like tropical punch, but with lemonade ish flavor to it. It's kind of how it.
Blue raz lemonade's its own flavor, Kyle.
Right.
So no, I think blue raz is just straight up like blue fruit punch. Is it not? I don't know, dude. You flavor stuff.
Come on, dude.
Oh,
Come on,
I mean,
dude.
what is a blue raspberry?
Right.
Like,
Is it just raspberry?
I mean, we have an
blue?
idea of what we think blue but blue raspberry goes from being almost cotton candy-ish all
There
the
it
way
is.
down to being a fruit punch.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's all different. There's no expectation to it.
Yeah.
It is a safe choice though.
It is.
In the fruit world.
Yeah.
To get a blue raz, but yeah, just poor blueberry, man. Just never got a chance in the flavor world. There's there ever? We had shout out blueberry muffin level 1. That one was incredible.
Yeah.
They still making that?
Yeah.
You guys still making blueberry muffin? That's not an LTO.
Nope.
Dang, dude. Well, shit. What else we got?
What's a new ingredient or maybe a new study that you've seen recently that has gotten you fired up or interested in either making a product that has it in it, or it could be a product that you already have that more conclusive data has came out on. What are you excited about in the supplement industry?
I would say I'm more excited. I don't know that there's a lot of groundbreaking ingredients that are coming out, but I think that I would say I'm most excited that a lot of the things have been removed from what was available, because it kind of re-leveled the playing field for everybody. And the removal of DMAA and DMHA and some of the ingredients that had just kind of stuck around for a long period of time in pre-workouts and in other things. I think the removal of those to kind of level the playing field across the deck has been
a good
that
thing for
that's
the industry.
been the most exciting thing, because now we can actually formulate something and we're not trying to chase that feeling because people are looking for it.
Yeah.
We can formulate, along the lines of actually
Performance.
providing, a product that isn't doesn't feel like drugs.
Right.
It feels.
DMAA, the first time I took it, I remember sitting on a bench at the downtown YMCA in Springfield, Missouri. Mike Taylor gave me 2 scoops of Muscle Spike, and I began to float.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at Mike, and I said, I'm supposed to work out on this stuff? And he was like, yeah, dude. He's like, it's going to take you a second to get used to it. I eventually just went home because I was like, dude, that was too much for me. What was
And listen,
that?
I like it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that I don't like the way that those things feel, or that, it's just a matter of there was a lot of companies using them and we couldn't,
Right.
So that I don't like it not being fair.
Right.
The cards are stacked against you out of the gate.
Yeah.
So, just leveling the playing field, whether they're legal or not legal, is good. Now along those lines, there's been a lot of things that have been outlawed that I think is complete crap. Pick a million and some things that are actually really, really good products or ingredients that have been outlawed because they're a prescription drug in Europe or whatever. Like
Right.
that's kind of
The unfair aspect of it all.
correct.
I got a couple more that are not related, but I think they're really interesting, and I think I really value your insight on them. And that is with the resurgence, because they've been around forever, but all of a sudden everybody cares now, is peptides.
Yep.
And I've seen
They
supplement
just renamed
companies-
them. I was taking those a long time ago as a bodybuilder. They were just called different things.
That's right. And so here's what's crazy is, like you were talking about the naming. I've been into some other retailers that are not supplement superstores. I'm seeing brands more or less take advantage of that trendy word and throwing it on over the counter sports nutrition products.
You should name your change the Formula 1 out to peptides.
Peptide 1. Peptide 1.
I mean, dude, I've seen protein jugs get manufactured that look like giant peptide vials.
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
No.
Or it's like the lid and scoop, the tub looks like
I have seen one of those.
Isn't that
yeah.
funny? But all that to be said, what do you think about
Not
brands that
wrong.
are doing that? What, as a consumer, right, for our listeners, help them make more educated decisions on what should someone look for when they see peptide on a product sold over the counter? What should they be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, I think just extreme caution, right? As far as what is actually going in there, who's producing it, who made it, you know, and ultimately, what are you trying to, why are you taking it? You know, and I would say that in that scenario, most likely, if they're claiming that it was some sort of peptide in a vial over the counter, like,
I don't think it's in a vial, Teach. I'd say
or
more
even
just
in
like
a jug.
these tubs. Like I
right.
think, you know, Muscle Tech, for example, I think just came out with a peptide that is just H&B, right? But they're calling it, you know, peptide something.
Right.
Is there, you know, anything inherently wrong with that in your eyes?
Is this?
I mean, I guess, you know, in
this
the
morale?
true sense of the word, right? A peptide is a chain of amino acids. So like, there's all kinds of things that I guess you could use that you know keyword for that's not necessarily wrong, although it's, you know, probably confusing to the customer because it's not really what they think it is.
Right.
Right.
And that's where I think like we're seeing a lot more of companies trying to jump on that bandwagon and make more products that are just leading to more confusion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. I mean, the sheer sense of a peptide, right, is it's a amino acid chain that causes a response in the body. So whether that's a protein that you're consuming, you know, for muscle growth, like that was whey, or, you know, you ate a steak, like there's going to be amino acid peptides in there. But that goes all the way down to insulin as a peptide, you know? So it's just, they're not going to be survivable in the gut in that sense of the word. When you hear peptides and you're thinking of some sort of hormone change in the body, right? Or a trigger in the body.
I got one more that's on the same kind of note of what we had talked about prior, and I just wish I had brought it up earlier. There's, you know, the kind of that can't beat them, join them, but then educate them once you have them. Conversation we had about whether it be, you know, a protein bar or a lower protein snack, but creatine gummies, creatine chews. I know that's something. Am I allowed to talk on that at all?
Sure.
Okay, I was like, you guys are coming out with a creatine gummy, right? Or is it a chew? I'm sorry.
It's a chew.
What should someone look for? Like, what is the efficacy of creatine gummies specifically? And then is a chew more useful, more bioavailable? And ultimately, would you recommend a customer just take monohydrate?
Yeah, so I think your best option, right, is going to be a pure creatine monohydrate and consuming it rapidly once it's been mixed, right? So the problem with creatine in general, problem in quotation marks, is that once it's been mixed with water, it starts to degrade and turn into creatine pretty rapidly. So if you're consuming a product that had to be mixed with water in order to be produced and then heated to put into a suspension, there's probably
Substantial amount of creatine.
degradation to the creatine, right? So, and then with time, that's going to increase as well. So if you get something that's older, there's potential for it to be degraded further. Now, I believe that there are some liposomal creatines coming on the market that will hold up better in those types of scenarios. And I'm sure there's certain manufacturing processes that can help mitigate the amount of creatine that is produced, you know, but with time, I think that there's, you know, it's just a ticking time bomb. With a creatine chew that we're looking at, virtually it's not exposed to water. Like it's very, very, all of the process, it's never exposed to heat. All of the process is around keeping that creatine as bioavailable and as its original state as possible.
Maintaining
We're talking
integrity.
about like a creatine Laffy Taffy? Like what kind of chew we talking about?
We're talking more like
Starburst?
Starburst would require, I think, more
Heat,
water being added, but this is more like a sweet tart, like a chewy sweet tart.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
How would a like an effervescent tab do, you think, as far as the usefulness to the body?
So there is some effervescent creatines that are starting to come on the market, and that is also a delivery option.
And you think it's a useful
Potentially.
one?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Because it's not going to be exposed to moisture until
You're dropping it in.
Yeah, that's right. Until
Yeah.
you're ready to take it.
Plus, it's probably fun.
Yeah.
Give the bubblies just like that.
Just the bubblies.
You know?
Mhm. Dude, it's so funny how cyclical the industry is. Before I even worked at supplement superstores, I took a creatine effervescent.
Yeah.
Just a powder, though.
Yep.
Remember the original Creax had effervescent?
It did.
If you
And
shook-
no explode.
and people shake their shaker
Well,
and they
the
pop
no
the lid and
explode,
it
and
explodes.
then there was the
had
that
no idea.
muscle tech that was like, I mean, it would like blow. I forget what
Nano
product that
vapor,
was.
brother.
Ah, nano vapor. It would blow the like lid off of the shaker.
You make me blow up a toilet too.
Yeah.
Back
My
in the
gosh.
day of the 20-gram pre-workout, everything
just-
had 20 grams in a scoop.
Hey, we don't know what's in it. We're guessing. Like, here's a
Yeah.
million ingredients.
Right.
It's a
Hopefully
protein
it's
scoop of
good.
mystery.
Right. Yeah.
Anyways, Brian, dude, so awesome sitting down with you.
Yeah.
Love you, dude.
we love
Thank
you,
you for
man.
everything, man.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Appreciate
for
you taking the time to talk with
finally,
us, and we'll have you.
finally, you know, just
Dude, we wanted to
went
make sure it
through-
was a special episode.
Right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We had to.
Number 190 something. Number 190 something.
Oh, we're looking
Now
at
we're in
Nick
your
like,
backyard
Nick,
all the
don't you
time."
know? You're not
He's
Luke.
getting there. But yeah, we'd love to have you on again soon, man. So much stuff coming down the pipe. You've been around for so much of the innovation that First Phorm has been coming out with, and I know they really very much appreciate you over there. And we're just so happy to have you in our lives, man. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Love you guys.
Love you, dude.